Recently, the city has enacted a vacant building inspection fee for all vacant residential and commercial structures within the city. The premise is structures vacant for an extended period of time deteriorate and endanger the safety of the public. Ken, do you think this ordinance is necessary?
Well, I think in this case we're using a stick where we should be using a carrot. Here we're punishing, property owners for having a vacant property that, potentially if it's a rundown vacant property, we're punishing them even more. Why don't we give them a carrot instead? Why don't we, offer them a tax break for, fixing up their property? Why don't we offer them a tax break for, filling a vacant property after it's been vacant for so long? Now, obviously, that would be
we do, by the way.
Yeah,
okay.
We
the
do.
second floor rental program.
We have the
building
second floor
facade,
rental program.
the
We have the Partners
first
in Economic
third.
Progress program, which allows you to get huge tax
yeah.
rebates and a matching grant of up to $250,000 for renovation
So
projects.
We've
why-
tried a lot of stuff.
So why
Yes.
is this stick necessary then?
I mean, I don't think this is a stick. I just think that it's a placebo for the public to feel better about the fact that we still have some vacant spaces.
And by the way, the city will get a little income out of it.
How probably
much are
not
they-
much, because at the end of the day, see, the interesting thing about this vacant building inspection fee is that they can cite all of these things, such as, the fire marshal could easily cite that there's no sprinkler system.
Right.
Or they could say that it's not ADA accessible.
Right.
Or they could say that there is asbestos in the building. All of these things are contingent on whether or not the space is occupied, and they don't have any legal standing to find those business and building owners unless the space is legally occupied. So this is just a freaking, this is really just like a postcard label. Here you go. It's a vacant building, and we're going to act like we're doing something
Smoke and
against it, but
mirrors.
we're not. And at the end of the day, you all are capitalists, right? You're okay with capitalists.
Yeah.
If somebody's owned a building for 30 years, what are they going to do? They're going to wait for another 5 years, 7 years, 12 years until they can recoup their money and their investment on that building and sell it at the highest dollar. And downtown Hagerstown isn't there yet. So we can't do anything against these investors. They'll take the fees. What are they going to do? Say, oh, I can't absorb a $500 fee for probably what would turn out to be a $500,000 return if I just hold on to this building for another 3 years, which in 3 years, the property values of downtown Hagerstown are going to skyrocket by 300% by all industry standards.
Why do you
so
say
we're
that?
not going to force, because downtown is reaching critical mass. I mean, my building is one of the only buildings that are fully occupied in downtown Hagerstown. We have 17 residents. We have a waiting list for our building because we were one of the few developers that were willing to stand up and develop it. So we have proof of concept that downtown works. People are taking note, and they are just holding off for the eventual return of that. I mean, I have proof in some of the businesses that we've drawn from Frederick, like Pretzel Pizza Creations, that saw the value of square footage, of cost per square footage in downtown Hagerstown compared to downtown Frederick. Is a difference of like somewhere along the lines of 70%. That's why I moved my offices from Frederick County to Washington County, because it made financial sense. Nobody's going to make these changes until it makes financial sense. And if the city of Hagerstown thinks that they can slap a $500 fee onto somebody for not having a sprinkler system in a totally vacant building, they're out of their damn minds. They're out of their damn minds. Good luck.
Colin, what do you think?
At the end of the day, the answer is going to be more economic development downtown. The city has a legitimate concern to make sure that buildings, even if they're vacant, meet certain safety standards and other types of criteria. So whether they should be charging a fee or not, I guess is something that obviously we're arguing. But we have to understand that there has to be a balance at some point between regulation and lack thereof. So we can't have an extreme in either case. I'm not entirely sold that it's just something to make the voters feel good, as Ashley said. And at the end of the day, we do live in a democratic system, so the voters do kind of have a say in how the government should be run. And we can't say on one side that we can't trust the voters to make smart decisions, so we have to spoon feed them, but then we don't want to really do
This
that.
show
either.
should be the only show on television that can very adamantly agree that they don't want property owners to be charged for not doing something that the government wants with their property, right? I think everyone at this table would be in line with that.
Agreed.
So I really think it's hilarious that we're arguing the validity of this.
No, I don't think it's. I don't think it's valid. I think it's crazy. I think it's. You know, I think it's another. I think it's another feel-good piece of useless legislation. And I don't even know who it makes feel good. I mean,
Right.
it's like the residential rental stuff. You know, that was ridiculous. It's like read down the list. You know, go look at the city code sometime. There is just craziness.
And I also worry about, you know, how, you know, something like this could affect a property owner that's fallen on hard times. I really do. I mean, you know, that's, you know, we're talking, you know, for a residential, that's what, $250. That could hurt somebody if they're just barely hanging on where, you know, hey, I inherited this property, I can't get it to move because the market's stagnant right now. I'll get it to move later, but I can't get it to move right now. Now you're going to charge me $250 extra, and that's going to be $500, and yeah.
The only thing I would say is if $250 breaks you, then you have no business owning potential development sites. And that's the only thing that I have to say about that. Now, I would say stay tuned because in 3 minutes we'll be back for our lightning round segment covering topics ranging from the new city administrator to the impact that economic development has on Washington County. We'll be right back.